Welcome to Jewish L.E.D, Learning Every Day, for Thursday, March 25th, the 12th day of Nisan. When the Haggadah introduces the four sons, which are really four children, it starts off by saying, Echad Chacham, one is a Chacham, a bright child. Echad Rasha, one is a rebellious child. Echad Tam, one is a simple child. Echad, and one is She'eni Yadei Lisho, who can't even ask questions. He's indifferent. The question has been asked, why does it repeat the word Echad, one? Could have just said there are four children, the wise one, the rebellious one, the simple one, and the one who can't ask questions. Why insert the word Echad, one, for all of them? And there are two answers. One answer is that every child has in him or her the echad, the oneness of God. That is the natural disposition of every child, and we're all God's children. And no matter how far we might have strayed, we can be the Rasha, the real rebellious child. Sometimes it's translated as the wicked child. We could be the most indifferent, most apathetic child. We still have that echad, that oneness of God in us. And that leads us to the second explanation. And there's an anecdote told about a teacher who couldn't handle one of his students, brings him to the principal and says, I can't handle this kid, he has to be out of my class. And the principal says, well, if that's the case, you're out of a job. He says, why? There's so many other children in this classroom. He says, what would happen if he'd be the only child? Would you come to me and say you want him out of the classroom? Of course not, because that would be the end of your job. You have to recognize that your job as a teacher is to recognize the value of every child, no matter how bad the child appears to be in your class. That's how we have to view every child, whether we're a parent or a teacher, no matter how far the child seems to be from the way you want and you expect the child to be. That child is echad. He's the only child you have. Imagine you have no other children, how much you would treasure and you would really value that child. That's how God looks at every one of us, his children. Everyone, whether the Chacham, whether the Rasha, whether the Tam, the She'eni Yadei Lisho, every child is one to God, and therefore they all possess that oneness of God, and we can never underestimate their value.